So what we primarily do is everything to do with personal safety for police officers. So things like handcuffing, unarmed defensive skills, recourse or refreshing in things like baton and spray, and techniques that will allow them to assist other colleagues or members of the public if they are coming across a conflict management situation. PPST is a mandatory course. Every officer has to complete their mandatory training every year. That's also the same for first aid. If you don't complete it, you will be deemed non-operational. So, for example, if we are non-operational and we go out and we use force, there will be questions asked as to why, where's the training records, why isn't this person in compliance with their PPST training. It's really important for them to recognise how we can adopt a different approach, a safer approach, not just for them, but for subjects and members of the public as well. And anything that might change on a national basis. So it could be a change to a technique or something that's been removed from what we call the Public and Personal Safety Manual, then we have to adopt that through our PPST practices so all officers and staff are aware of it. Our PPST is primarily over 2 days. So it's a range of scenario-based approach, which is 6 different scenarios, and we would never set different outcomes in each scenario. There's a whole range of learning objectives the officers have to meet. That can range from communication skills up to restraint, high-end restraint, and then back down to communication skills. So we're trying to test them in a range of different things across, as I said, the 6 different scenarios that are set by the College of Policing. We also have to cover off first aid. So again, that's set by a national forum, and we're abided to the national guidance on first aid. So again, it's testing officers in areas such as CPR, dealing with bleeds, critical bleeds, recognising things like head injury assessments, and where's the best place to go for those types of people, as well as having a understanding and a recognition of another medical issue, which is known as acute behavioural disturbance. As it stands at the moment, officers come across situations whereby they never know what they're going to go into. So I've dealt with many things myself where I've walked around, I've thought one thing and I've walked around a corner and it's something completely different. And usually those situations are first aid. So you could be walking down the street and off duty, for example, and somebody falls to the floor and we've gone into cardiac arrest. So it's really important for officers to understand what we can do, how we can help as quickly as we possibly can, and where local kit is. So things like your local defibs if you're on or if you're off duty. What kind of first aid can we administer for certain other things? I will always say that the golden rule for first aid is always preservation of life. So if we can either preserve life or prevent worsening for something, then I think we've got a duty of care to everybody to do that.
The chest and one between the shoulder blades.
Every officer will have to complete what we call a Mod 2 first aid programme. So when you have new officers or new staff come in, they will do what we call an initial first aid, which is 2 days. And then they have to be refreshed in that then every single year. Then you have your custody staff who have their Mod 2 every single year. But on top of that then, they have an additional input around other areas of first aid. Then you have your medics, your PSU medics, which are sit higher again on that first aid ladder. So they will be able to administer other things such as like oxygen and airways management and so on and so forth, but that your day-to-day officers wouldn't be able to do that. For many, many years, operational safety training was very linear led. So what I mean by that was you have you and your partner stood in front of you, and you would go over and you would handcuff your partner in a compliant manner, okay? It was recognised, and is recognised nationally, that maybe that's not the best way in order to train officers. Officers and staff need to train for reality as best and as safely as you can possibly make it. Now, as trainers, we have to assess the officers that are performing those skills. So we can't be both assessors and role players. So therefore, our students then become our role players. There is a safety brief which they have to abide to. That's both for the officers and the role players. And what we would ask from the role players is we have to make it as operationally relevant as we can possibly make it. So when we look at how we brief them, we would ask them to perform one of 6 behaviours, one being compliant, and then going up to as far as 6, which is serious aggravated resistance. So at any one time through a scenario, those role players will be asked to perform one, if not maybe a few of those behavioural outcomes, and allowing the officers to make a little bit more of a decision judgment on how they're going to handle it. So that could end up in a restraint or not a restraint, and then it would be down to the officer then to justify their actions through the use of a debriefing at the end of it.
Officers this side then for me.
We have an annual CPD day, so it's normally led by myself and some of the other trainers. And what I would encourage any one of them to do is to come up with different scenarios for different elements of the PPST. What we'll also do is we'll speak to other departments in force to see if there's anything that is trending, and if there is, we'll try and adopt that into PPST. A lot of it at the moment is around stop and search, so we're trying to adopt an awareness of lots of different things around stop and search. So it's done annually, or if we need to change something up, we'll do it every couple of months. But as a team, we will talk about that and say, right, well, can we add this in, take that out, and just make it challenging. What we normally find, though, is if officers have done their PPST, say, this time last year, they will always expect the same when they come back the same year, and it's never, we've had it recently, it's never been the same because they just don't know what to expect. I think when you look at it, on a national basis, everybody's assessed now against the same criteria because the College of Policing set the criteria. We have our own standards that we know that we need to adhere to, and we know what are the values and importance to Gwent Police, and that we'll try and thread that through our PPST training as much as we can. For me as a trainer, how can I be better? How can I be different? And if I can offer up an alternative approach to whether it's a 20-year cop or a 2-year cop, if I can put something in place that's different, safer, more practical for them, and they've adopted it, then I think I've done my job properly.